Curling Championships. It is Page Playoff Saturday. We're going to have a barn burner here for you. It's the women's 1-2 game between Diane Gushulak and Sheila Cowan. Team Gushulak with Diane Gushulak, Grace McInnes, Danielle Shaughnessy, and Corey McLaughlin, who call Royal City and Kelowna home. And for the Cowan rink, we have Sheila Cowan, Sandra Comadina, Stephanie Kask, Christine Matthews, coached by Shannon Jonice, and they call Royal City and Vancouver home. Now these two skips, very familiar with each other. Only played dozens of times over the years in BC Curling Tour events and women's leagues and many other provincial championships.
Yeah, both these teams are very experienced, so we know we're going to be in for a very good game today.
Judging by the first couple shots here, it looks like we might be in for a little bit of one of those more standard defensive ends. Although it could just be the Gushulak team opening up the front and want to take play to the wing. Other games going on tonight, we have the men's 1-2 game featuring Team Koyanagi against Team Wright, the men's 3-4 game with Team Craig versus Team Longworth, and the women's 3-4 game with Team Federock and Team Arsenault. Based off these first couple shots, definitely looks like it's going to be one of those more simple first ends. Just get your feet wet, get comfortable. Team Gushulak won the A event, so they've had a few games off. But they do have the hammer here, so probably just trying to get a little comfortable.
Yeah, and they were actually out practicing during the morning draw. Did about an hour of rocks up and down, and so I think they're still going to be quite familiar with the ice and what it's going to do.
It is nice to have that practice time, but nothing quite like the thrill of playing a game. Yes, the teams do have a 10-minute practice before the game, but it is definitely nice to kind of get your feet wet again and get back into that real game mode.
It is a bit of a mindset difference between practice and during the game. And for Team Gushulak, especially, they had the first practice, so the ice might have changed just a tad between when they were on for their practice and starting the game.
And as the week goes on, the ice usually will change a little bit. So sometimes the teams who have played more games can be a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little more seasoned to the ice. played against these teams a couple times in the past. What do you think kind of the keys to the game here are?
I think for these two teams, they both have a lot of experience. So I think it's just going with what their game plan is and what they're comfortable with. I think keeping it simple is also key here. As in our last game, we saw a couple shots that just a little bit of a change in the ice. It looked like, so just getting used to that. Both teams, of course, very skilled, very talented. So
I expect a lot of shots to be very, very close.
yes.
Keep an eye on this, okay? I think it's here for front. Like 3 1/4, okay?
I think once the ends get a little bit more complex, it's going to be kind of the same. Make your hits and sticks, hit the 8-foot, don't rack yards.
Exactly, and I think in their last game they played against each other in the A qualifier earlier this week, it was a pretty low-scoring game, no big scores in there, a couple blanks as well, so it looks like they'll keep it fairly simple, but will take advantage of the opportunities when they see them.
There's a little bit of a miscue there.
So this is one of those opportunities I guess I just referred to.
Yeah, that was completely unexpected. So far, the hits have all been made this end.
We'll see if Grace McInnes can capitalize here on this.
Definitely a big shot.
Must be close.
Out of the hand, it seemed like they didn't like it too much, but I think they like it now. Those rocks nice and spread out. Doesn't look like there's much of a double here. So I see Sandra here calling for the hit and stick. So this is one where, when I'm working with other teams, one thing I always suggest is if they're able to, is try and go for that roll to the other side of the house if possible. Because right now there's no double. If you get a nice roll over to, say, the other side of the 4-foot, it might be possible for a double to be there on the next shot, or at least make her play a new path.
Yeah, just bringing those rocks together, make them a little bit closer, group them together. Gives a little more opportunity to for Team Cowan here to do something with it.
Now we are very late in the end, so it would still a very tall order.
Yes.
One of the things we talked about in the last game was making sure the teams were throwing lots of rotation. So we were catching a few softer handles, really going sideways on this ice. Noticing both teams already, lots of rotation from them. Probably not going to see quite as many rocks taking off. Some curling to do.
It looks like it'll just come across the house and will be helped right out.
Yeah, those are ones you really want to stick on. One one thing when I'm calling the game, one thing I definitely like is when my opposition skip is not throwing draws. 'Cause I typically don't want them to have draw weight.
Inch less. Less. You can overfill.
So, open draw to the paint for Diane Gushulak for a second point here. Not a chance to put draw weight in her pocket.
Exactly, and like you said, sometimes you don't want to see them throwing draw weight if they're your opposition, just because having draw weight is so incredibly key to kind of wrapping up and really closing some of the ends.
So one of the keys to the game is going to be making sure you know that top 8, top 4 weight. Kind of like eyes closed, make it. Really like the rock management there from Grace and Danielle. Just babing this into the forefoot. No problem for Diane Gushulak there.
Yeah, it looks like she knew exactly what she needed to do.
No concerns about draw weight for her. And it'll be a 2-0 lead for Team Gushulak after the first end. Just off the scoreboard here, I think we're going to start seeing a few more rocks in play.
Yeah, it looks like she's called for the corner guard.
A little bit of a free opportunity there with that rock slide. Looks through the house. Not sure if it's in or not. Needs to be a pretty high guard. I think they're going to need to try and put a second guard up there. Gonna take advantage of that. It's so high with this much curl. It's not doing a heck of a lot.
Not too much.
The other thing is with corner guards that high, it can also take away your draw path later potentially.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do with it. At least there is no center guard there. That way, get in their way. It looks like Gushulak wants to come right into the house.
Yeah, I saw her. She called top 4 on the side of the paint, but got some sweeping to do to get this in the house.
They're dragging it a long way, though. They're doing a
Yeah,
good
they gotta
job.
get this one in. Not sure if that one's in either. They are able to put a stick to that if they're not sure. Oh, and we got confirmation that's out of the house.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
This is going for the fans at home that Sandra's called the draw around the red guard because it's a bit tighter to the house, so it will add better protection than compared to their own corner guard that's a little bit higher. What's Supina do on this one too?
I think they might be on this red one here and give it a little tap.
It does act like a de facto guard though. It does overlap now, so there's no run back. I guess one positive for the Cowan team is plays off to the wing now.
Yeah, exactly. And you definitely want to keep that center open when you have hammer.
Well, Looks like if this is going to be buried, it's going to be maybe half of the floor at best. But it's still going to shrink the rings big time for the Cowan ring, should this get made. This looks pretty good. Looks like there's a little bit of the risk-off approach for the Cowan team.
Yeah, I get that opened up a bit. Like you said, there's no real chance of a run back here. Just looking at the moment we could see the angle, it wouldn't go straight back, and it won't really help them out here. So
I thought they might try one freeze here. But I guess I just feel they want to make one, keep it open enough
exactly.
where they can get the blank if they need to.
No need to get yourself in trouble early.
So yeah, I think you're going to see Diane either put another one in the house or peel this guard. Don't really see her putting up a guard here.
Yeah, and why would you not put up a guard here?
Well, if you put up a guard, you're not going to be on center. You're still going to leave the entire house open, and just put up a guard might give the other team a guard. It's one of the old Lyndon Moore tactics when you're up, the guards are not. Things not quite setting up here. Looks like we're going to have a pretty clean rest of the end.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's what we said last end as well.
That's true, but that was more on execution than anything.
Exactly. So we'll see. Everyone still has to make their shots, even if it's open.
Of course. Sometimes we joke that the rock's kind of that no man's land at the back behind the house, but still in play. We kind of call them tripping hazards, but that thing's very much in jam territory.
Yeah, it makes
for
all
either
those,
team.
It makes all those hits a little bit harder. It makes you think a little bit more about them.
In the rings! In the rings!
I think it's got a little bit of a force field around it right now.
Okay.
And as we're watching these rocks come down, we can give you a bit of a score update from some of the other games that are happening on the rink today. I think on one of the games between Team Craig and Team Longworth, Team Craig has taken one in the first end. On our next men's game, Team Koyanagi versus Team Wright. Team Wright has taken one in the first end. And then in our other women's game, a big score of 4 by Team Arsenault in the first end.
You watched Team Arsenault earlier this afternoon. They really had to grind their way through a tough 8th end and a tough extra end. So I guess they're taking some of that momentum into this game.
Oh, for sure. And like I said last game, this is a sport of momentum.
sweeping on this one. It's usually not a good sign.
They've gotten the piece they needed, though. Now it's just a matter of if they stick around.
Looks like they are. I love that everyone just checked to see if that rock's in. Has it moved? Maybe when the earthquakes happen, it's the caddy shack. It's gonna slide back in. If that's in, it changes the entire dynamic of this end. But I don't think it is. Interesting call on the switch gears here. They're calling for the freeze on the rock that Gushulak just threw.
Yeah, they're playing the hits all in so far and keeping things a little bit clean. Maybe they see an opportunity with this one being quite far back in the house and some jam potential here instead.
This is definitely one of those risk rewards where I do see this played from time to time. I don't know if I would have played it, just feeling the risk of playing it is higher than it needs to be. If you ever bounce off or if it's not quite perfect, you could be left with the force when you could have blanked the end.
Exactly. Although this is not a terrible outcome for this shot, the Team Gushulak rock is still in the back there in the way.
Very much. You can't play anything cute at this. You'll have to just kind of pick it out and give them kind of the free blank.
Got room. Line's really good. Make sure we're on the paint. Got a curl. Use the curl. There it goes. Yep. Keith. Keith. Yep. Hard, Keith. Hard. Hard, Keith. Hard. Right to it.
Looks like she's pretty good here.
Let's see if they try the same thing again, or...
It looks like peel to me.
So it must be that back one is definitely out if they're going for the peel.
That's my assumption, but they might still put a stick to it.
Certainly never hurts.
The rings sometimes aren't perfect, but if she rolls out on this, I think Gushulak's going to want it to be in. That's not a lot of weight. That looked like an intentional stick there, so that must be in. The rock must have been in.
And I guess we'll never know.
Oh. Maybe the players will tell us afterwards. But either way, it's a score of 1 for Team Cowan. That rock wasn't. I'm surprised that the Cowan team wasn't trying to make the double earlier in the end then when they had the opportunity.
And again, I think it just comes down to what you're saying about team preference. For sure, what do they like doing?
And for our viewers, you may have been watching some of the World Women's or last month the Scotties and Briar. In those events, they had a thing called the no-tick rule, where if a rock was touching the center line, you could not move it for the first 5 rocks to the end. At this event, they are not using that rule. So any rock, whether it's on the center line or not, can be moved during the first 5 rocks. Beyond that, the 5 rock rule for hits is still in effect, so no rocks can be removed from the free guard zone for the first 5 rocks in an end. textbook call on the defensive play.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if they're hoping for the rollout on that one, but heard a little bit of a speed wobble might have occurred through the microphone there.
Technical stuff happens from here time to time. We are human after all. Team Gushulak taking this pretty easy here, just going to the wing and telling Team Cowan, all right, your move. Your turn to put a little bit of chips on the table. That's fantastic rock placement. It's behind the tee line.
Okay, so why would one behind the tee line be a great rock placement in this case?
So when you're playing the defensive play going to the wing, the optimal spot for those is actually about a foot behind the tee line, because should the Cowan team make the roll to the center, they're going to be in the back of the house. So really when the rock's from the back of the house in the center, not really a huge consequence to them because it's of no danger. Whereas if they put that rock, say, top 12, that hit and roll puts them top of the button behind that guard.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to where you're at in the end than where that would be useful. So I think we'll see instances in this game where it probably is a better idea to stay in the top of the house. And that would be good to come to that back for the rock placement.
That's one of the more niche things, because sometimes you look at those and you go, top of the house is always better, but if you're going to the wing when it's wide open, not necessarily. Like this one there is the back of the house, so you might see them play the draw now.
I wouldn't mind an 8.
They're going to stay the course and play the hits, just not want to take too much risk here. I feel like this is a big respect move. Sandra really respecting the abilities for Team Gushulak here, not really wanting to give them anything to play with. If I remember correctly, Sandra actually did play many years with Diane and Grace.
Alright, now with the clean house behind her, Dan's just calling the appeal, it looks like.
So based on how the end's going, I really hope that Team Cowan does not go around that corner guard. We were talking last game. That's usually how bad things can start happening.
Yeah, for sure, but I don't think, just where the room is, I don't think that's what they're calling, so I think we're safe.
I think what Sheila's suggesting here is if they can put a couple rocks in the put a rock in the 4-foot here, they might go for that big roll on her last shot if possible. But of course, there's also that element of risk that if you ever roll out, they're just going to loop one around that guard.
Risk is just how this game goes, though.
What was it? You need to take a little bit of risk if you want some reward.
Exactly. sweeping this one the whole way down the sheet.
Sweepers earn their keep on that. That's just sticking around. I think Gushulak has to roll in on this one if they want to stay in the house. Kind of nice to have the entire house to roll to if they need it.
Exactly, but Team Cowan's done a fantastic job of keeping away from that corner guard that Team Gushulak could potentially use to score there too.
Nice roll there from Grace. This is a big one that you have to. The next two shots are going to be very big because you have to stick the shooters on both of them. Before you do open up access to that corner guard.
Exactly, you have to give the other team something to shoot at. Distract them.
Well, this one, if Sheila were to roll out by chance, Diane would use that corner guard and draw it pretty close. I assume she'd make it.
Exactly.
And if Diane was to roll on her next one, if she sticks this, then Sheila would just go around the corner guard.
Exactly. So I think we both know what call we'll see here.
We know what's going on here. Absolutely. This is the risk of leaving that corner guard up. So you have to be in front of the tee line this one. In fact, you get to be a couple feet in front of the tee line, or corner freeze could be in order. Sweepers aren't on this too hard. They're just kind of cleaning it.
I think this is what we would classify as a heavy clean.
That is a fantastic draw. Pretty sure if Diane could have walked it down there, that's exactly where she would have put it.
Same weight I've been throwing it.
Yeah, I like the buddies.
Not a lot of real estate to hide behind on this one.
Yeah, although there's not a lot of space, I don't know if there's another choice to make here.
Not really. It's basically this or the run double. Neither one's a gimme. This is a lot further out than Diane's was at the same line.
Yeah, Sandra is calling for a curl, but I don't know how much they'll be able to do with it.
Don't think this is going to curl enough. She had the right weight. Great weight, just need the line. Imagine Team Gushulak's kind of probably a little happy they didn't roll out on that peel now.
Yeah, they were really able to utilize that I guess what turned into a guard.
There's a lot of times in various levels of play where you'll see teams put up multiple guards and they never end up using them. So this is a good example where you just need one guard to generate your 2 points.
So, break it. If we had half on the outside, we should go over to the veranda.
So some curling to do.
A bit of a missed opportunity there.
That might have been a little bit of an overthrow by Dan. That was really close, but yeah, that was for sure a missed opportunity.
So that'll be one for Team Gushulak as we're heading into the fourth end. And just as we're getting into this end, we'll give you a quick update on some of the other games going on. After two ends, they're a little. The game we're watching now is a little bit quicker than the others. So after two ends, we have the Craig Longworth game had a blank. On the Koyanagi right game, Koyanagi took one in the second end to tie that game up 1-1. And in the other women's game, Team Federa was able to get one against Team Arsenault, making that score 1-4 in favor of Team Arsenault.
I feel like this call is the one where, if successful, they're going to be going for the lead corner guard.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought of that call.
I thought they were going to play the corner, but now I look at it again. The delayed corner is probably the way they're going to go. Just try and open up their rings. It is the fourth end, so try and score in the even ends. Getting to that point in the game now where managing the scoreboard is getting a little bit being important.
What does a delayed corner mean? What does it do?
So with the 5 rock rule, it means that the lead has 2 opportunities to put up a guard that the opposition can't hit. So with her hitting on the first rock, she still has a chance to put up a corner guard that Team Gushulak will not be able to hit until the second rock. So once this corner guard is made, Diane will have to decide on another shot to play instead of the peel. With the 4 rock rule, that was not possible because with the first rock, you just walk up and peel it. So that's one of the beauties of the 5 rock rule. It just opened up a whole other world of possibilities for offensive play.
And why might you not want to set up your guard on your first one?
Well, on that one, that first rock that Team Gushulak put up was in a really good spot because it was just biting the forefoot. So if that rock wasn't hit, very good chance that Diane would have just put up a center guard on top of it, and now Team Cowan's chasing the entire end. Whereas now they have a little bit of a chance. The house is open. They're going to have opportunities to use that corner guard later. That's another reason why Gushulak is trying to go side 4 here, is they just don't want anything close to that corner guard.
Hold tight.
So the reason we're not seeing Team Cowan play the hit on this one is that rock's not in the control spot. It's out in the side. So even if we get later in the end, it's not impeding them from making a draw.
Yeah, you can hear Sandra saying switch earlier when they were down the sheet, just trying to get the sweep to help this rock curl over a little more to get tucked behind this corner guard.
Looks like she will get tucked. Not a lot of room for another rock, but for sure buried.
Yeah.
her 10.
Yeah, I think Diane's just looking for the hit and roll here. We did see her kind of asking her team how much of the rock they could see from peeking out from behind that guard.
Yep. Well, the nice thing with this shot is you have 2 shots you can make. You can either pick off the one in the house, or if for some reason it curls and it's a little tight, you can get the top one.
Just like that.
With this hit, there'll be many opportunities for a double to be made later in the end for Team Gushulak, or maybe just play a couple hits and rolls and group the rocks together.
Yeah, and I think Team Cowan's goal here is going to be kind of keeping these 2 rocks as far apart as possible to try to keep the double away.
Yep. One really exciting part about this part of the game is, even though it looks pretty simple, you still need a lot of precision because you can't really afford any rolls or any misses here. That goes both ways. Chance for Team Cowan here to get some draw weight.
Yeah, without having a rock to hit, they can really try to set up or not set up an angle with the best opportunity.
The great part about this is it really gives Sandra a chance to get her feel. Not putting a broom to this, my goodness.
Not a great sign when one of your sweepers backs off at the hog line.
Yeah, dog, hard now, hard. Keep going.
We're kind of talking. It's always the simple shots that seem to be the ones that something can happen on those quite easily.
Yeah, for sure. And like we had said too, things look simple, but you still have to make your shots.
So it can be easy to get up for the really hard ones because you have to really dial in and focus, but you need to dial just as much into the simple shots. Nice adjustment there from Sandra. Hey, sometimes it's all you need. I think Diane's going to want a small roll to the wing here if she can, or to roll out's okay too.
And why would rolling to the wing might be what they're looking for?
Well, there is some jam fodder at the back.
I think it's us.
last thing that you'd ever want here is to jam that back one.
You see Corey looking back at it to make sure.
No problem there. There's the jam. Did she get away with it? Yep.
I think she got away with it.
Yeah, then they're gonna lie too.
Those are always a little scary when you makes contact. Like, please go, please go.
And he is gonna lie too.
You got to talk to the rocks, though. They listen to you.
But do they listen?
You want?
Bill Shearhart, one of the great Canadian coaches of curling. One of the things he always told us when we were at the Canadian Juniors is when you go out on the ice, the Rocks have no idea who you are or who's throwing them. They just do what you tell them to do. Well, that is in the house.
They're not no roll like they were looking for, but
Even a nose hit here is okay for the blank. We're gonna have a blank here and then off the break.
yeah, as a reminder for all the viewers, these games are 8 ends, so we'll be at our mid-game / fourth end break after this.
Or as some teams might refer to as picnic time.
Truly is.
And no problem, so blank end will be 3-1 Gushulak over Cowan after 4 ends. We're going to take a short break ourselves here, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, we are back for the fifth end.
That
of
break did not.
the
That break did not feel
BCers.
like 5 minutes. The breaks
Alright.
always go faster than they.
Exactly, and hear a lot of movement going around. You could see the ice crew jumping around in the background there as a lot of the other teams are headed off for their fourth end breaks now.
Apparently, it is break time at the Langley Curling Center.
Yeah, lots of excitement back here. That's for sure.
I see lots of water, lots of Gatorade.
Lots of snacks, as is tradition.
I wonder if there's anything else in those water bottles.
A beautifully placed corner guard here by Team Cowan.
Based on how things are starting here, we're definitely get some rocks in play. I feel like that first rock from Team Gushulak might have been a victim of the fourth end mop.
Yeah, tell us a little more about that.
So usually at these provincial championship events, during the break, the ice makers will usually come out and clean the ice, so they'll run the mop over it. Usually this will add 5 or 6 feet of speed after the break. Not always, but usually. So quite often we see the first rock after the break might go a little bit deep, but not always.
It does look like it's just biting at the back though, so it'll be interesting to see if that one comes back into play at some point.
You never know.
Looks like Grace is sweeping this rock pretty hard.
Looks like they're going to stick around.
Won't get that roll that Diane was looking for though.
So this will open the door for this corner guard to be used. Mission accomplished here for Team Cowan, getting play off the center.
Exactly.
Maybe the mop effect is starting to wear off.
There is such thing as the potential over adjustment.
Could also have been that that rock didn't have the legs, so it didn't curl either.
So not quite getting the curl they need there. Another opportunity here for Team Cowan.
That was just a little wide out of the hand. is one of those rocks where even if you go a little bit deep, usually is okay as long as you're buried. Buried and shot. This one's looking pretty good.
And it does look like, in fact, they are shot rock.
I do like the hit call with the hit here. Just starting to eliminate some rocks.
Yeah, don't let it get too messy or crazy in there.
That's a couple rocks now that have undercurled in that spot. I wonder if it's just a little straighter than they're expecting it to be.
It definitely could be.
Thought I heard got a curl.
Doesn't look like the sweepers want to
Oh,
go
it
too
picked
hard
like it
on
picked.
it. Oh,
Or she burned it.
that's unfortunate.
Say if it picked, he would have pulled it off.
Doing some corrections here.
I think that one that would hit the boards earlier. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Hopefully they take care of her after that. It's never something anyone does on purpose.
No, of course not.
Looks like this one is curling.
So maybe just the way they were throwing the last ones.
Could be. See if this time's the charm here. They've been very close a couple times.
Yeah, exactly. We did see Grace come back there and talk a little bit about that last rock with Diane. Like, there's a little demonstration of a release there, so I just got started a little bit on that last one. So.
Well, they're so experienced that if something's going on, and these two have been teammates forever.
Just pick up on everything so quickly.
Oh, so close on that one. Had perfect weight.
Yeah, that had all the makings to be a great shot. Just got that little tick there.
I did see that Sandra asked for a little bit less ice in that one, and I wonder if her being a lefty had anything to do with that on the extra curl. So to my comment about the left-handed throw, for Sandra there, that was an in-turn for her, whereas everyone else, it's an out-turn in that spot. Just crossing the line a little bit differently there might have made an impact on the amount of curl that she was getting. with Grace's smile. They're like, oh, it's that spot.
Such a big part of this game is just believing what the ice is doing.
Yeah, maybe just a touch more though.
Yeah, you just got to make the adjustment so that the ice is. Yeah, you just got to make the adjustments so that way you can play to the ice rather than trying to make the ice do what you want. Big shot for Sheila here. If she gets this buried, very much could be the extra point here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just being patient the whole end because this is the opportunity they've been waiting for.
Again, being able to get that rock behind that guard will be huge.
Looks like it might be a little bit deep, but the line looks really good. That looks pretty good.
And they are shot rock too, which is the other important part of that.
Shot rock just a little bit deep, but it does force Diane to chase it. To it.
So it means the weight's probably pretty good here.
So if anything, it's probably a maximum, but they are going on it now, so maybe can't bounce this. Can't bounce off this one. Come nicely down to it. Perfect weight, perfect judge.
Great team shot.
That was a very good team shot. Those are so easy to over sweep, over call.
Oh, for sure. And great throw from Dan. Great call from the sweepers. Great line call from House. So that's really what you're looking for as a team.
Absolutely.
Greg, you timed me through a 6 last right? 3:10.
The sweeper's on this one right away, just out of the camera frame here. They haven't left this rock yet.
Got a pretty slow time on it, but they are dragging that. Big sweep there.
Yeah, they made it as far as they needed to go. And with that, we'll do a quick update of the scores after 4 ends of some of the other games we have on the ice here. In the Craig versus Longworth game, Team Craig took 2 points in the 4th end to go up 3-1. And in the Koyanagi Wright game, Koyanagi took 2 in the 4th end to go up 3-2. And some excitement from the other women's game on the ice right now, with Team Federer taking 4 in the 4th end to come back into this game, catching up 5-6 against Team Arsenault.
That's quite something to have that big of a score with the score differential that high. this is usually the point in the game you start to see the decision making really hone into a very specific objective.
And could that objective be a little bit different for each team?
Likely. Well, the Gushulak team here, their primary objective here is to score. They just need to score 1. If they score 1 here, their odds are pretty good. Cowan team, force wouldn't be bad. They'd love to steal 1. But the Cowan team also knows they can't sell the farm here and really go hard for a steal.
Yeah, there's still, it's just the 6th end. We still have lots of time left in this. Not tons, but enough time left in the game.
Absolutely. This is one where you try and go, either try and go force blank 3, or you try and go steal force 2, but they will, regardless, they will need more offense.
Yeah, a lot of teams will know what their game plan is at this point, or where they want to be at heading into those last couple ends of the game.
Absolutely. Well, regardless, looks like they're playing kind of a backline, hack weight style shot here. Even if they clip the guard, it's still a really good shot. Even if they clip the guard and roll into the house here, I think you'll see the Cowan team start to play a hit just to guarantee that they're not going to give up too many points here. Gotta work hard to get this one by.
And they do.
And it looks like Gushulak is sitting 2 now. That's a big second point.
So Sandra's calling for an 11 here. What does that mean?
11's board weight, so they've been throwing closer to 9.5 or 10 the entire game. So this lower weight gives them a little bit more control and a little bit more flexibility with the sweepers when compared to something closer to, let's say, a 9.5 or a 10. Because they're trying to get the roll here.
Yeah, it also allows for a little more movement at the rock.
Absolutely. This one has some moving to do too.
Gotta watch that back one. Looks like they're okay.
One really nice thing for Stephanie with this shot is she gets a second crack at it. The last one was close, so team knows the small adjustment that needs to be made here to get this roll.
Yeah, they were definitely in the ballpark on their first try on this one.
I think they jumped this. Very close.
Yeah, they'll get the nose this time, but still not that roll towards the guard that they were looking for.
One big positive is that they get the hit and stick. Shout out to Ken Brown. Always reminding us you have to hit before you hit and stick. Interesting spot. The double doesn't look super easy, and you don't really want to be playing around a quote corner. play the hit and roll there. You have to roll. Looks like they're going for the hit and roll. Just try and limit the risk. Looks like they are playing 11 second to try and get the hit and roll. They have a long way to roll on this. I'm a little bit surprised at the call, because now Gushulak has kind of a free shot to sit too. And they were hitting third shot there.
Yeah, Dan seems to be taking a second to think about the opportunity here and what they can do.
If you label this top four, you're probably getting a deuce. If it goes back four, you're in some trouble.
It is a pretty precise shot, but we know this team can make those draws if they need to.
The draw weight from Grace McInnes and Diane Gushulak has been quite good this game too, so I expect this to be very close. Oh, I hear up. That's not good.
Yes, the sweepers know what to look for right away, and they're calling a bit heavy already.
This is when, if you know it's heavy, just go deep, unless they're already there.
I think it looks like they might already be there.
Ooh.
Danielle's pointing through the house.
That is unexpected.
Definitely unexpected here.
Wow. I think with assuming this hit and stick's made, I imagine you're going to see Gushulak try and go around that center guard again, seeing that the blank's probably out of reach now.
See if Grace can make the adjustment on this one.
She only needs a piece of the 8-foot here. Bury to be really good. So that's some curling to do. Ooh, this is going deep. Big shot here for the freeze.
Take a chance, play the double. Yeah, I think we got him.
All right, we heard line's good and a call for weight's good at a 7 and a 7's T line.
Line looks pretty good. Don't think it needs to curl much yet. Looks like they gotta go wait a little bit. Gotta get shot here. That is a little bit short a shot from my perspective. Now the sweepers were calling good the whole way.
Yeah, they're calling 7 out of their hand. I didn't really hear an update after that super clearly, but they seem pretty confident in it.
That's one of the teams that I'm on. Usually we have the second sweeper, so the outside person, usually will keep looking up so that way they can keep calling wait. So if something changes, they can communicate that very quickly to both the other sweeper and the skip.
I think every team has their own system, but that is something that we're seeing a lot of the other teams throughout the country use.
We're starting to see that from a lot more of the top teams. Just everyone getting that specialized role. And this shot's pretty precise too, because not a lot of... There's a few spots that are really good here, but there's also a few spots that, like if you bounce off that one top 4, you could be looking at 4 on your last.
Exactly.
You have to be very careful with the placement on this. This is one of those shots where it's close. You gotta decide if you're gonna go right to the tee line or if you're gonna stop and leave it top 8.
Yeah, and it does sound like they were close, at least partway down the sheet.
That's twice we've been fooled in that spot where they think it's good and it just kind of slows down. So maybe there's either a flat spot or it's just wearing down.
It's not a terrible spot, though.
Well, that's a lot much better spot than bouncing open. Big chance for Sheila Cowan here. This is really good. It could be a stolen point.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one of those kind of out of nowhere.
I don't think Sheila will need to make a huge adjustment on the shot. She was pretty close for the last one. It was just a very precise shot.
If anything, I imagine it's gonna be a little faster out here just because that middle is in the slide path, whereas out further out, it's gonna be a little fresher. The way they're sweeping this looks really good. It's gotta stop in a hurry. Oh, that's so close.
Just a little bit too much on that one.
Oh, I think it might, if I had to guess, it's just that slightly different path is all it was. That didn't die the same way as our first one did.
No, and like you said, it could just be a different path out there, right?
Oh, it's super unfortunate because now Diane also has backing for her draw as well. Sheila kind of just showed her the path. Again, it's that risk or reward with those having the extra rocks in play. Just anything can happen. waits close, she has nothing to worry about. If anything, just make sure you get by that front stuff.
They're still trying to make it curl here.
Once you're on the back one, there's nothing to worry about.
I think they are
no
on
problem.
the back one, looks like. And that's 2 for Team Gushulak. Alright. And as always during this break, we're going to do a quick little score update after 5 ends for the other games that are on the ice. Team Craig took one against Team Longworth to make the score 4-1. There was a blank between Koyanagi and Wright to keep that game at 3-2 for Koyanagi. And on the Federer and Arsenal game, Team Federer stole 2 points to go up 7-6 in that
They're
game.
storming back in that game. Holy cow. This is why I'm not sure what we're going to see Team Gushulak do, because they're up 3, and we know Team Cowan wants a lot of rocks in play.
Oh, for sure, because I think Team Gushulak would be fine staying up, headed into that last end and keeping things simple.
But with the 5 rock rule, they're not going to be able to hit much, so there's probably going to be a lot of rocks in play after the seconds first.
I think Sandra's asking Christine here, of course, to put up that corner guard.
Probably corner guard number 1. I wonder if the players on the ice can hear the music going on upstairs.
If you do have a chance to come down to the Langley Curling Center, they have a great facility here. Would definitely recommend checking it out.
A few years ago, they did big renovations. Got a new restaurant and pub upstairs. Food's pretty darn good, and their beer selection is also quite good. I think they might have like karaoke night going on upstairs or something.
It sounds like they're having a fun night up there, and like I said, if you have a chance to come down here, you can come check it out, see some of the curling happening.
They're playing into the house already. Looks like they're just playing a little bit of a jiggle on those rocks.
It does look like it, and sometimes I think we'd see some teams put up 2 guards, whether it be 2 guards on the same side or 1 on each side.
I feel like in this instance, Sandra's saying, if we wait another rock, we're probably going to be in trouble. Like, a lot of trouble. So they're trying to take a little bit of that trouble off the table.
Because although it's nice to have the 2 guards up, I would think that while you take your time to set up those 2 guards, you can see Team Gushulak just piling some rocks around the center there and make it very hard to get multiple points.
There's a lot of ways the shot can go right as well. That one just a little bit light. Has a bit more weight, get a bit more of the action. Fortunately for Team Cowan, this one is in the house and is pretty open, so the blasts are coming now. One really good thing to watch from the Gushulak team is whoever the sweepers are, they always have a broom down. Unless it's way off, the broom's always down.
Yeah, they have really good rock management on their team.
On the draws, they're always cleaning. On the hits, they're always cleaning. The other really big benefit to the always clean method is it saves a lot of energy, so you're not having to go all out on the rocks once they get closer to their end. Going 100% on every rock's pretty tiring.
You can only give it your all on so many rocks.
The science behind sweeping, I believe it says you only have about 10 seconds of maximum power. After that, I wouldn't say you're useless, but you're definitely not as effective anymore. So when I'm working with some of the youth groups or juniors, I always suggest try and sweep at 60 to 70% maximum until you absolutely need to go. Oh, it's a little full.
I think they
Gonna
might get the back one.
Get the back one.
I don't think that was the intended call, though.
Dan likely called it that way, knowing that there was always a plan B.
Oh, for sure. There's always a plan B hidden somewhere in there in these top teams.
When watching all those top teams in the Briar and Scotties, one thing that they're excellent at is always getting a result. Might not be the optimal result every time, but there's always a result. And that's something teams can take to the league games as well, is always make sure that you get something out of every shot.
Yeah, I think the other half of that is know how to miss.
And the other part of that's also know your players. Each player has their own tendencies.
Exactly, and I think us adding all those parts to it just kind of shows there's just a lot going on, just like any sport.
That's an unfortunate error, 'cause likely could have had something either way with just a little bit more of the communication there.
So try the peel again.
This is a situation where as a team you have to kind of decide, are we just going to try and force a deuce here with any way possible, or are you just going to say, screw it, let's go for it in the next end? And really try and get your three later.
Yeah, and that's something that you definitely decide with your team, and not while you're in the middle of a game, but you're planning out all these scenarios while you're in the off season or during some of your practices.
We saw both Gushulak and Cowan, not necessarily these teams, but we saw the skips out on the BC Curling Tour and playing in the women's, or the BC Scotties. So I know they've been practicing hard and getting the experience in those situations so that they know when this comes up what they're going to do.
Exactly. At the higher levels, pre-planning is just a huge part of the game.
Oh, absolutely. Championships are played in January, but they're all won in July and August.
Very nice shot, very nice sweep.
Just nice controlled weight there. There's some teams you might see throw rockets at that, but you need whatever weight you need to make the shot. For a joke, you can technically make a peel with hack. Technically.
You can.
It's a lot more precise than it needs to be, but you can. Looks like it's very close for the freeze. Very nice.
That is a beautiful shot.
Oh, we are going to see the blast here from Diane. I thought Diane might just nose this and group the rocks.
It does look like she's going to go for the fun shot, though.
If the blast is there, definitely like that. As you said, it's all comfort. That's pretty good.
That ended up in a pretty good spot.
I'm not 100% sure who shot, but I imagine Gushulak is shot with the one side 4. That's kind of a greasy location to leave that, because there is a double on the Reds, but you're going to leave a double right back.
Exactly. I think that's why they're calling the timeout here, to be able to discuss this a little bit more and bring their coach out.
Coach Shan going to bring some wisdom out.
Teams, I believe, get 2 timeouts per game, so this is just one of the ones that they get.
This one's definitely for coach visit, because these teams definitely have no shortage of time. This is the fastest game out on the ice by, looks like a full end.
When we heard from some of the players in the game, they were happy with the pace they were playing at. Team Gushulak also taking this opportunity to talk out a few things amongst themselves.
These are just nice opportunities to just take a breather, gather yourself, and plan out the next little bit, or plan the next end, or talk about the ice, maybe tell a joke.
Exactly. You can see Coach just talking them right through it.
Only really shot that I see is if they could bump that red one into the back, or they just say, screw it, let's just blank the end and get one next end, or go for it next end.
Keeping in mind that they are running a little short on not clock time, but game time in a way.
Yeah, we only have so many ends to play the game.
We do. Both of these teams are lucky, however, being in the Page 1-2, having qualified through the A and B events, that they do have a second chance to get into the championship final through the semifinal. But of course, you always want that direct entry and your guarantee into that game.
The faster you can get to that final, the better.
Sheila's just kicked out with this rock. Looks like they're going after the hit.
Uh-oh. That look from center didn't look good.
I said, gotta try to get something out of all shots. What do you think of that outcome?
Well, I think Sandra's face said it all as it was coming down. Gushulak is shot here. I'm a little surprised that they're doing this because I don't think you need to.
What would you be doing in this case if they shot?
Well, the safe call is definitely the hit and flop. You got to roll to make sure that there's a harder double and roll out. If you force here, you're up 2 with hammer. I would much rather force here than...
That's fair enough, and again, I think it just
blank.
comes down to team preference.
I mean, I'm kind of looking at this going, if you throw the rock away, what do they do?
It's true.
Obviously, you're going to put it in the paint somewhere, but if you threw it away just for fun, what would they do? So those rocks are almost frozen. It's pretty hard to remove. Like, pretty easy double and blank here. Just a half rock on the outside.
Doesn't seem like they're looking at considering that though. It looks like they're going to go for this little hit for 1.
This comes down to team preference as well, where you feel like your odds of stealing 2 are better than your odds of getting 3.
Everyone should know what their team is best at.
Absolutely.
Stephanie Kask just cleaning this rock.
Not sticking around.
All right, that's a score of 1 for Team Cowan, it looks like.
Team Gushulak will have a 2-point lead as we come home in the 8th end.
All right, and we are coming into the last end of this game.
Are we shot? We could sink it. What? What do you guys think? Let's talk about this. Let's make this.
Good start there from Christine. Nice high guard. And the take shot has been called.
Again, for those who tuned in after we mentioned this the first time, at this particular provincial, the no-tick rule is not in place. So this shot can be played.
Just a little bit too much weight there, and that guard will go back.
Yes, even though the no-tick rule is not in effect, the 5-rock rule sure is.
I actually quite like the way that they played that, where they had a little bit extra weight. Reason is that being up 2 means that they need to be sitting at least 2 before for you to throw your last rock. If your shooter doesn't go out of play, that's just another guard for them.
A quick update after 6 ends on some of the other games going on right now. In the Craig Longworth game, Longworth took 1 point. That game is now at 4-2 in favor of Team Craig. In the Koyanagi Right game, Team Right took 1 point after blanking the 5th end, and that game is now at 3-3. And in the Fedorak Arsenault game, Team Arsenault scored 2 points and is up 8-7 in that game.
A little bit of a seesaw affair there.
Definitely. And just a reminder, those are scores after 6 ends. This game is going a little bit faster. We're actually in the 8th.
Looks like Koyanagi got 2 in the 7th end on their game, so they lead right after 7 ends. That's the men's 1-2 game.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a play speed disparity in this draw.
I think our game's just really fast.
Team Gushulak taking some time here to discuss.
Well, there's a big decision here. You could go top 4 and make life a little harder for Team Cowan, or you could try the tick again.
Just by the ice they're giving, it does look to me like that top 4 shot, but
Does look like a draw here. After this shot, I would bet that Team Gushulak starts hitting everything they can.
yeah, we don't want to, or Team Gushulak would not want Team Cowan to have anything to hide behind here, but Team Cowan will do their best to create a situation where they can get those 2 points that they
This
need.
one's a little deep, so they're just going to take it right through if they can.
It will stick around in the back there.
Better than back button, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. This is at least still relatively out of the way.
For the most part, they can't really freeze it and do anything.
Hearing Sandra say line's good. But the sweepers have been on it the whole time. It might be a little bit light.
It's always comforting as a sweeper to know that the line's good. Line's good, weight's a little on the short side. Oh, this is not what I expected.
Yeah, usually when you're up in points and you have the hammer, you'd really want to be clearing up the front to keep things open for yourself. But this is a different strategy. Again, preference.
Absolutely. Maybe they feel like they're going to get to one top 8, top 4. They just need one in a good spot.
This one does not look like it's
This also
panning out
looks
for them
quite
either.
deep as well.
That one does make its way through the house, though, so at least it's out of the way.
It is out of the way.
But I think it would have been a nice opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, that's one if you're going to play that, you have to be in the top house. Anywhere else, it's not doing you a heck of a lot of good. It is one of those instances I'm surprised that Diana didn't just call a single peel. You don't need to get rid of all of them. Just get rid of one. Just one at a time.
So Stephanie's coming the other way at this one, but it also looks like he'll come up short.
Now I kind of like the draw. There's a lot of guards up there. This is usually those situations where you go, well, we're not removing all the guards. Might as well go for it. Quite often in my men's league games, I'll call a little bit more aggressively than I would in, say, a BC Tour event.
Exactly. I think it's important for a lot of people who are learning to play or playing at different levels that strategy depends on where you're at too.
It just depends on your players. You want to play shots that you know your players are going to make.
A little tick off that guard as well. We're getting a lot of rocks in front of the house.
We absolutely are. That's when I think the weight was really good, but watching that come down, I did notice that the rotation was a little bit slower than what she's been throwing all game, and that could have been a reason for the line disparity. The door is open here for Team Cowan, but one good shot from Team Gushulak here likely is going to make life a lot harder for them.
Yeah, with all these guards out front, could it be that whoever gets to the 4 foot first has a good shot?
It absolutely is a race to the 4 foot. Half in the 4 foot here would be really, really good shot for Sandra. This is looking pretty good. Sandra coming up when needed it most.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Okay, well, that's enough to get it then. Well, third will get it. Oh,
There's one, you're kind of in deep here. Just remember, Cowan needs to steal 2 here.
Yep.
Freezing this or coming up a little bit short, it's actually pretty good because it makes it easier to remove on the next shot.
Hard. Hey, whoa. Whoa. Yeah, keep going. Roll it out. Somebody. I don't know. That's good. That's fine.
Uh-oh, I heard we're all over this guard. Like the weight's a little heavy.
Did help clear up that path a little bit for them, but
Also clears it out for Cowan as well.
exactly, they have another chance to sink one in there.
I think they're going to play the intern here.
Line's good.
So they do have the guard there.
Go bump.
This is a shot as well.
No ball, yeah.
Dan could be drawn against the tie on the outturn side.
Yeah, I think as you're saying intern, this would be Sandra's outturn?
This would be Sandra's outturn, yeah. So it is curling quite a bit out here, so she should have enough space for this to move.
Just running a little bit more.
It is. I think it's a little bit further out than some of that fresh stuff that we were talking about earlier. Because that is that path that was catching teams earlier in this game.
Does this open any sort of window for Dan?
I'd say yes. Because if they can, again, still that race to the 4 foot. There's so many guards out front. It really is just that race. She doesn't even need to be shot here. As long as she's second in top house, it's probably good enough. You'd love to be shot here, but definitely err a little on the high side.
Either that or just draw another one. No, not right now.
Just has to keep moving.
Forward, not sideways.
Well, it's going sideways. They're not stopping that. But as I said, it chokes off that side of the house.
Oh,
So
for
they can't. That draw's not as accessible now as it was before. The other one is that can also be used for a run back later if need be. Just a half rock peel. Pretty routine shot. Pretty natural. Oh, we call another timeout. Coach Shan's going to come out. Cowan does have the luxury right now. They are sitting 2 already.
I think this is a great time to get Coach Shannon's advice. Very respected curler in her own right.
Definitely multiple time Scotty's competitor. I think the last time she was at Scotty, she was also one of the All-Stars. Fun little trivia there. I think we will likely see Chance just that draw on the out-turn side. Try and half tuck.
Yeah, the one that Sheila was just pointing out there.
Yeah. It's always nice when you can bring the coach out for the skips first, or the third's last shot, and you have a little bit more future thought going into the end. If you bring it out for skips last, usually I find it's a bit of a waste of timeout.
Yeah, like your timeout is not just about the shot you're going to throw at that particular moment. That being able to talk to your coach is also about planning and understanding what you can do further in the end.
Exactly. And sometimes if you have that extra set of eyes, sometimes they might catch something about the ice or the rocks that you haven't quite seen yet. My team was lucky enough to have Marion Arsenault coaching us a little bit. Quite a good curler in her own right. Multiple time Scotties world champion.
Just a little bit of knowledge.
Just a little bit. Fortunately, we're missing Marianne this week. A bit tight. I think it's curling early.
Yeah, they're saying hard line. Looks like they need to go on this
that's
one.
curling early.
Both teams getting caught a little bit out here.
That's the spot that we haven't seen over curl quite as much.
So what options does Diane have here?
I think Diane's objective here is that she wants to sit at least second shot. Yeah, she just needs to get second shot here. Like a nose tap. I actually don't really like the wide tap here. Or straight draw is okay too. I don't like the ankle tap here because if she ever taps it on the wide side, she'll open up the draw path. And that allows Sheila to draw in on the in-turn side potentially.
Yeah, do you mean the tap on the right-hand side of the screen as
The
we're
right
looking at it?
side, yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful with this because if you over curl, you're gonna open it up. But if you under curl, you're gonna leave a hit and roll.
Very precise, even though it doesn't look like it.
It's pretty routine, but there's a lot of ways that this could go not quite as planned. I would say the tolerance here is to under curl a little bit and then get second shot. That's definitely the way to play it. I think if I was playing this, I'd probably play hit weight on that red rock and just remove one of the yellows. one thing about this shot is that this is a weight and line shot, whereas if you play the straight run back, it's just a line shot.
They are calling for the sweep on this one pretty hard, though.
I did say the tolerance is high side. And this is curling huge.
Wow, unexpected here.
Yeah, we are going to have a hit and roll here, I think, from Team Cowan.
Oh, it doesn't look like that's what Sandra's calling.
I am surprised. I mean, the draw is a great call, too. I just feel like with the hit and roll, you have a lot more chance to get buried.
See Christine coming down here and suggesting some sort of tap, but Sandra seems to be sold on this draw here.
Hey, the draw's a great call, too. Both the right call if you make it.
Keeping in mind, I think, let's see, I think we're on Sheila's rocks now as well,
This
right?
is her last rock.
Yeah, so...
The right shot's the one you make.
Yeah, and it's the one that she'll be comfortable with as well.
Absolutely.
If she's comfortable with this, I think it's the best shot to call.
And again, she has the luxury that she's sitting to already.
Exactly. And I think buy-in is really important in these shots as well.
Absolutely.
All right, you might be hearing some extra voices in the background here, which I think means we have handshakes on one of our men's games.
Don't see a score post. I think Koyanagi has beaten right. Yes, they have. They did not complete the 8th end, so Koyanagi will move to tomorrow's final.
Yeah, congratulations to that team. They have been playing very, very well all week.
Shout out to the Royal City team.
Only a little bit biased on this commentary sheet. Both of these teams on this sheet, as I said at the beginning
Oh
of
no,
the...
this is overcurling a ton.
Yeah, oh boy.
This might bump him in. And Gushulak won't even have to throw her last rock. That's an unfortunate way for this game to end. My goodness.
It is. It's not the way you wanna miss that, but
It's not the way you want to win the game, really, but Team Gushulak who wins a win.
yeah. So yeah, like the Team Gushulak will be moving on to tomorrow afternoon's championship final for the BC title.
And Cowan will have an extra shot in the semifinal tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and with that, we're actually going to jump over to the game on sheet F here. The winner of this game will be playing Team Cowan in the semifinal. And it looks like Team Arsenal is sitting... Nope. Team Federac might be sitting the one at the back 8 there. The score of this game is currently 8-7 for Team Arsenal, with Team Federac having blanked the 7th end to give themselves a chance in this 8th.
So this is Team Federux. Skips first, so there's only three rocks left to go in this send.
They're giving this one some thought.
Well, this is a big shot here. So yes, Federuk is shot in the back, but it's in the back. A simple freeze, or if the hit's available, could take the end away afterwards.
And again, we're hearing a few more voices coming off the ice as well, which I think means our other men's game has wrapped up.
It looks like Wes Craig's advanced to tomorrow's semifinal against Steve Wright.
Yeah, Team Craig stole 1 point in that 8th end there to take that game 6-2.
Truck has some curling to do, and That is unfortunate.
Yeah, that changes a lot in a hurry, as I think Team Arsenal is now sitting 2.
They're sitting 1-2 and then 4th shot. I think they're just going to put it in a place where it makes the draw for Federic a lot harder. And it looks like Penny Shots is going to put one about top 8 here and try and make this draw as hard as possible.
Alright, looks like Penny has just released the rock there. Sweeper's just cleaning this one a little bit on and off. It looks like they're just...
I think they want to drag this a little bit further.
Yeah, I think they're helping this one in here.
Looks like it does the trick.
Yeah, it does the trick for sure.
Makes the spot a little bit more narrow.
Keeping in mind, Federic needs to score 1 to force the extra 2 to win the game. And unlike the game that we were watching previously, the loser of this game is actually out. So a little more on the line on this one.
Yep, the winner of this game will move on to play Team Cowan tomorrow. This rock is quite heavy, and Team Arsenal will steal the win here.
Alright, which means Team Arsenal moves into that semi-final slot against Team Cowan tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I believe, and the winner of that game heading into the final against Team Gushulak.
Big day for Team Arsenal, having a little bit of a heartbreaker in the morning and then storming back with couple big wins. Oh, and I see Penny giving the big sigh of relief. I'm sure she'll be having a glass of wine pretty quick here.
All right, and with that, I think that was our last game on the ice in this evening draw.
Yeah, that concludes the coverage for this evening.
All right, big hugs on the ice, and we will see you all in the morning at 9 a.m.